Good morning. It's Thursday of week 2. Proud of you guys for making it this far. Keep up the good work with classes, with making friends, getting connected. If you remember back to Monday, I think it was Monday, it was when I was talking about how we are created in God's image. But today I want to focus on the idea that we're created. Because we often don't think about this. The fact that we're created means that we're not God. And the fact that we're created means that we live dependent on things. Those things we're dependent on are God, other people, and the land. Also, because we're created, it means that we are, you've probably heard the word finite, but I'll introduce another word, this idea of limits. Because we're created, we have limits. God does not have limits because he is God and everything has come through him. So he has no limits or constraints. But we, as created beings, do have limits. And today I want to help us move from thinking that limits are a bad thing to believing and agreeing that limits are actually a blessing from God for us, that remind us of our creatureliness, that move us back toward unity and fellowship with God, the very thing that we were made for. So often when we talk about limits, we talk about physical limits, like there's only a certain speed that humans can run. But I want to introduce a couple other categories in the idea of limits, that we have emotional limits, and we also have limits to knowledge. And we are always brushing it up against our limits. And our world around us is set up to say that these limits are bad. And if we can get rid of these limits, maybe we can finally be free, or finally be our self-actualized person, or be the true me. And so we want to live outside these limits as if they're bad. But I would argue that they're actually gifts from God. So we see Jesus many times. He'll do ministry, he engages, and then he retreats to the wilderness for times of prayer. And so we even see in his life, as he was fully God but also fully man, we see the limits as Jesus is interacting in the world, where he engages and then disengages. And so today, we could go on with this conversation for a really long time. But today I want you to think about, am I working at a speed that is past my capacity? Am I saying yes to too many things? Am I saying yes to things that I don't want to say yes to, when really I want to say yes to other things? Because time is one of those big ways that we feel limits. And if you say yes to watching a show for a few hours every night, that could be what you want to say yes to. But maybe you want to say yes to building a friendship with your roommate, or a classmate or something, as a way of seeing the long-term goal of, I actually want strong human relationships, because those fill me and honestly help me not be lonely. But watching a show or a movie really doesn't help fix the loneliness. I've tried, it doesn't work. Don't go where I've gone. But yeah, so think about what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, and if those are the things that you really want to be putting your time into.